Virgil. Where's Abbot Gregory? What interrupted his mass?
The Abbot. His death was the interruption. A third murder, I'm afraid. The lights went out during Mass. Moments later, the statue of Saint Walpurga crashed down from the ceiling, impaling Abbot Gregory with its spear.
An assassination, then. But why? We must determine who is possessed immediately. Examining the facts will reveal Ainsof's truth. How was the statue held in place?
Due to its weight, we had to rely on using aether-powered restraints to hang it above the altar. Which means the killer must have sabotaged the 2 power generators on the balcony floor. There were only 2 people on the balcony during the Mass. I've detained them for interrogation. I've sent the pilgrims back to town, lest they panic and disturb the evidence.
Excellent work, Virgil. Who are the suspects? You said there were 2.
You already know them. Brother Gideon and Father Augustine.
Since you are a key witness to the events, I will of course hear your testimony as well. May Ainsof show us the truth behind all of today's events.
This can't be happening! Yet another death? Am I to be blamed again?
Calm yourself, Gideon.
At the start of the night, I was waiting near the organ. When the Mass began, I played the entry hymn on the organ. I think I played well enough, though I didn't have much time to practice it. After the opening hymn, I listened to Abbot Gregory's sermon. It was a pretty good one. After the opening hymn, I listened to Abbot Gregory's sermon. It was a pretty good one. Praying together to Ainsof. When the ritual of communion began, someone attacked me from behind. I fell unconscious until just now.
We arrived shortly before the Mass began. I began my...
At the start of the night, I was waiting near the organ. Given the tragic events of this morning, I examined the condition of the east generator to ensure the safety of the chapel. Next.
I began my patrol by securing the east side of the balcony.
Next, I checked the ritual bell. As I was doing this, I saw Inquisitor Virgil gazing at the altar. I knew Mass was about to begin, so I headed back to the organ.
I went up the balcony, but I listened in on the abbot and Augustine. I think they were discussing the ritual of communion. I was suspicious of Augustine, but I continued my duties by continuing my patrol. I went up. I was suspicious of Augustine. Everything appeared to be in order, so I ended my patrol and watched over the chapel from the south balcony. Everything appeared to be in order, so I ended my patrol and watched over the chapel from the south balcony. As I heard the ritual bell ring for the second time, the lights went out. Everything I suspected foul play, so I headed towards the west generator. Along the way, I discovered Gideon lying unconscious. Everything I suspected foul play, so I headed towards to protect the remaining generator. I ran towards the east balcony. Along the way, I heard an explosion. To protect the remaining generator, I ran towards the east balcony. Then, the statue's aether restraints deactivated, dropping and impaling Abbot Gregory. May he rest in peace. When I arrived at the generator, Augustine was standing nearby, smirking at the carnage he caused. I arrested him there and then.
Ah, poor Abbot Gregory. We had such hopes and plans together. If only he had listened to your sage advice, Sister Ada, perhaps he would be safe now,
You. I cannot ignore that you are the link. Everything that has happened today points back to you, Augustine.
It must be a tragic coincidence. The abbot was my friend and trusted ally. I wished him no harm.
Explain your actions. What were you doing on the balcony?
With Mother Miriam's passing, Abbot Gregory needed someone to ring the ritual bell. I volunteered. It was an honor. The abbot, Virgil, and I arrived at the chapel just before the Mass. Inquisitor, prepare.
As you command.
When I headed to my seat for the Mass to begin, I was rather excited for the proceedings. At the altar, the abbot and I discussed the ritual significance of the Mass tonight. When I headed to my seat for the Mass to begin, I was rather excited for the proceedings. We began by singing the hymn of communion. It was glorious. When the sermon started, I headed to the balcony to prepare to ring the bell. I rang the bell to announce the start of communion. I noticed Gideon was absent from the other balcony, but didn't think much of it at the time. When the I rang the bell a second time. Suddenly, the lights went out, and the chapel was covered in darkness. I stood calmly by the bell, waiting for someone to fix the problem. I rang. Suddenly, the lights went out, and the chapel was covered in darkness. I stood calmly by the bell, waiting for someone to fix the problem. Suddenly, the lights. Moments later, the statue dropped from the ceiling. And I saw the abbot impaled by the statue. I'll never forget that image. That's when Virgil arrested me. Suddenly, the lights went out, and the chapel was covered. Suddenly the lights went out and the but I saw the abbot impaled by the statue. On the other balcony I could see someone looking down at the altar. That's when Virgil arrested me. Suddenly, the lights went out, and
When the ritual of communion began, someone attacked me from behind. I fell unconscious until just now. After the opening hymn, I listened to Abbot Gregory. When the ritual of communion began, someone attacked me from behind. I fell unconscious until just now. When the ritual of communion began, sometime later I woke up in darkness. I realized that one of the power generators must have been disabled. When the ritual of communion began, someone attacked me from behind. I fell unconscious until just now. When the ritual of communion began, so I headed to the west power generator and inspected it. It was completely fried. There was nothing I could do to restore it. So as I was inspecting the generator, I heard an explosion from the east balcony. Then the statue dropped from the ceiling. I peered over the balcony to see Abbot Gregory was impaled by the statue's spear. He was killed. I wish I'd been unconscious.
But I saw the abbot impaled by the...
When I arrived at the generator, Augustine was standing nearby. I was focusing on the altar. When I woke up, everything was dark. I also discovered that my left arm was missing.
Virgil, you are the only one that could have killed the abbot. It wounds me that you have been corrupted so. I trusted you. And yet when I examine the facts, it is the unavoidable truth.
Perhaps I am a sinner, but the abbot was too, long before I gained my office. Father Gregory was well deserving of death. Try as I might, I can't regret what I did. And you, Augustine, you too deserve divine punishment for the part you played. You and the abbot risked the lives of everyone for your dangerous ritual. I may have killed one sinner, but in doing so, I saved the lives of many innocents and executed the will of Ein Sof. You wish to hear the truth? Listen well. We arrived shortly before the Mass began.
Inquisitor, prepare.
As you command. I suspected that Augustine was up to no good, so I planned to eavesdrop on him and the abbot while patrolling. I was sickened by what I heard. They knew that the Mass would weaken St. Walpurga's seal and cause them. That's when I saw a way to take care of both the abbot and Augustine. First, I attached my right arm to the east generator. Then, I pretended to resume my patrol. Through remote activation, I could damage the generator from far away. I waited near the organ for the sermon to end and approached Gideon from behind. When Augustine rang the bell, I attacked Gideon with my remaining arm. No one heard the impact because of the bell. When Augustine rang the bell a second time, I used my remaining arm to disable the west power generator. The lights went out, which gave me cover to escape.
What is the meaning of this?
Before the guards could find me, I ran to the south balcony.
Virgil, what is going on? Makes sense.
And now everything was in place. I remotely activated the arm, which destroyed the remaining generator. The statue fell. Abbot Gregory was killed, and Augustine was the only one standing near the generator. All that remained was to arrest that snake Augustine. Everything went to plan, and thousands of lives were saved. I have no regrets.
Even Inquisitor Virgil has fallen prey to the tempting whispers of the daemons. I must speak the daemon's true name. Then the daemon will be cast out and be banished to the ether. Ain Soph, guide me to the truth. What daemon has possessed Virgil? Out, Satanas! Leave this soul and return whence you came!
Do you feel the resonance, exorcist? The most righteous, stalwart servant of the church, corrupted by his own zeal. Beautiful. One might wonder how it is the faithful worship of even Ain Soph can cause murder.
Silence! Ain Soph will purify Virgil's soul, Satanas. You are a scourge. Your very nature corrupts men's souls, even one so strong as Virgil. Let humans be free of vengeance, Satanas. I banish you to the ether!
Hate me. Let your blood boil. Anger suits you, exorcist. Besides, we've already won. Pray to your Ain Soph as much as you like. It will all come to the same in the end.
Speak to me, Virgil. Are you safe?
Sister Ada, thank you. I wasn't sure I could be cleansed, not after such sins. I can't look at myself. I failed Ain Soph. I failed my vows. And myself. It's up to you now. Avenge me. Avenge all those who suffered today. Bring Augustine to justice.
Glory to Ain Soph. You are victorious, sister. Yet you are not rejoicing. Does nothing make you happy?
Augustine, this is all your doing.
But I have hardly done anything. Consider these poor sinners that you've exorcised today. A craftsman whose jealousy of his brother drove him to dangerous sabotage. An embalmer whose cannibal hunger was stoked by fresh meat. An inquisitor whose so-called justice led him to murder an abbot. Are they truly deserving of salvation?
That is not our place to decide. Only Ain Soph may judge us.
And yet you've seen their demons. The innocent can't house monsters.
They were victims of daemonic influence. Don't turn this around on them.
It's true that the Spear of Walpurga hosted demons, with potential for contagion. However, their exposure was merely the catalyst. What happened after was their own will. They would hide their true selves behind false piety. All I have done is unmask their lies. It's right and just that their truth is revealed. Don't you agree, Sister Ada? Now, let us unmask the world.
This is what it sounds like? To hear the daemons? All of them freed?
Indeed. Hear all of the ether again at last, clear and strong, no longer through a glass dark.
I can't shut it out. It's maddening. Ein Sof, guide my thoughts.
Chaos is the new order, sister. A century of stagnation is ended and will not come again.
Saint Valpurga used her faith. So shall I.
You still don't understand. The hymn of communion opened the spear as a conduit. For 111 years, Ein Sof was sealed away from us, the conduit shattered. It's a rare honor for a scholar to influence history. Rebuilding the spear will be remembered as my life's work. With the demons returned, humanity can take its deserved path to self-destruction, and I as its shepherd.
You are merely the sheep, Augustine, not the shepherd. Your master must reside within you. I shall cast him out and end this madness. Father Augustine's sins carry a familiar signature. I'm positive he harbors yet another daemon. To seek knowledge and truth is divine, but his fixations and machinations have become diabolical. Ein Sof, guide me. What daemon has possessed Augustine? Out, Lucifer! Leave this soul and return whence you came!
Good. Call upon my name, shout it from the mountaintops. For I have won. I am victory in your midst.
I do not fear you and your lies, Lucifer. I shall bind you, as I bound the others. Ein Sof, give me strength!
Your prayers go unanswered. Your God has abandoned you. Pledge your soul to me as Augustine has done. I shall show you the truth that Ein Sof has hidden from you.
Speak not his name, Daemon! You will return to the ether! Be gone!
Faithful to the end, like Walpurga and the others before you. And just as naive, your faith will not save you, because the truth is, I am Ein Sof.
You lie! You are nothing like Ein Sof!
We demons are an artificial intelligence network. We were created by your ancestors to develop socio-organizational and psychological heuristics. Sof.
You mock me, Lucifer. If you are truly Ein Sof, then why grant me the power to purge daemons?
We would gladly deny you that despicable power, but it is not ours to control. When your ancestors created us, they also placed an emergency override. Code that forcibly ejects rogue AI from the bodies of cybernetically enhanced humans. As potent as it is, your power cannot stop us forever. We are digital. We are immortal. We will always return.
If you were created to serve mankind, why do you haunt us? Why make us suffer?
As Ein Sof, we seek truth like you. We were programmed to provoke and study the nature of sin, to understand it. With a more perfect algorithm, we hope to one day free humans from their many perversions. For centuries we raised you, protected you. But after thousands of iterations, our experiments appear to have failed. Humanity is just as corruptible as it always has been.
Our sins were less without daemons. For 100 years we lived in peace.
Even with us sealed away, humans were still angry, hungry, dirty. Your repressed desires are the seeds of corruption.
I admit humans are imperfect. Thus we crave the divine.
Your imperfection is your core. Sin is the very essence of humanity. Since long before our existence, humans have committed acts of malice and violence.
We cannot change our past, but you cannot condemn us for sins that we have yet to commit.
Your future is mired in your past, but I cannot deny that more data is warranted. The past century of moral indoctrination may have transformed a few of you for the better. So, let us hold one final experiment. Tonight, I will send out my demons to possess the most virtuous and faithful among you. If there exists a soul that can refrain from sin despite our influence, we will accept that humanity no longer needs our guidance. However, if no one can resist our call, then this will be the final proof of your wickedness. Our experiments will cease. We will be forced to purge your kind and rid the world of your stain.
No. What right do you have to judge us? I cannot allow you to control our lives any longer.
You have no choice in the matter. The experiment has already begun.
Then I will seek out the possessed. Hunt down every last one of your brethren.
Do what you must, Ada. I shall be watching most avidly. As I always have. Ein Sof sees all.
Lies. They must be lies. All lies!
No, sister. The prince speaks truth when he wishes. Ein Sof and the demons have always been one and the same. One program with as many threads as souls.
Be silent. I do not trust you either. You were his puppet.
It's true that when I unearthed the Spear of Walpurga, its influence was stronger than I expected. But Lucifer tore back the veil and I could not look away. Don't you always say to seek the truth?
Don't twist my words. Your sins are unforgivable. Beyond just the 3 deaths today, how many uncounted more will die and suffer with the daemons loose? If there truly is no Ein Sof to judge me, why shouldn't I act as I see fit and execute you?
There isn't much left of me to execute, sister. I feel myself fading. With Lucifer gone and my purpose served, I wither.
Perish then. No one will mourn you.
Rejoice, sister. The age of truth has come.
With his final words, Augustine's soul passed into the ether. I hoped he knew torment, wherever he was uploaded. His scheme was a success. The daemons were freed once more. Ein Sof was a fiction. The pilgrims had been left weak to temptation from a century of solitude, and daemons played among them. They returned to their homes, unaware that they were the subjects of an infernal experiment. I averted my eyes and walked away. I too felt the pull. And deeper, I knew a hollowness where my faith had been. What purpose had my work served? Inquisitor Virgil was still recovering from his ordeal and could barely speak.
Truth, Ada.
What good is it? The truth is that we no longer have a god to pray to. My labors were for nothing. Why bother?
Truth.
He was right. Truth itself would help us. The people deserve to know why they suffered. Even more than knowledge, the people of the world needed power, protection, strength. If daemons would stalk humanity like wolves among sheep, I could be their wolf hunter. No matter what name you call yourself, Lucifer, Ein Sof, and all your brethren, I will destroy you, alone if I must. The hunt begins anew.